Okay, so now back to Jeremy and LinkedIn.
Thanks, Tamara. All right, so when we review LinkedIn for small business, there's a couple things that stand out. LinkedIn really initially started as a B2B network. Now it's kind of grown into a B2B as well as a business-to-consumer network. The idea here is it's by and large the world's best B2B social network, and by best there's a number of reasons for that. One is the size of the network, two is the features and functions, and we'll go over those in just a moment. When you think about LinkedIn, it's all about connections and it's all about your Rolodex. So, you know, that thing you used to have on your desk that had hundreds, if not thousands, of little cards in it, LinkedIn will do all that for you now, and it does it in a way that's very unique. It goes with this sort of concept of 6 degrees of separation, and we'll cover that in just a moment as well. LinkedIn makes it easy to connect with business contacts in a professional manner. You know, people really don't talk about what they're eating on LinkedIn. People don't necessarily talk about what their daughter did, or maybe, you know, maybe what their son got into at school. LinkedIn's all about business articles and business connections and all that fun stuff. So it's a much more it's not a super stuffy environment, but it's a much more professional environment. Again, the same things that hold true that Tamara's brought up, that I brought up in the past, is you want to connect and share. The key word here is share. With business-to-business relationships, you know 9 times out of 10 you've got to give before you get. So you have to keep in mind that sharing content and sharing ideas and thoughts is one of the most important things. There are functions and features out here for online resumes and personal endorsements as well as company endorsements. Those are pretty big in the world of business, and you guys realize what it means if someone from IBM endorses your small business marketing firm. It does a world of wonders when other folks go and they look at your profile. Again, when you talk endorsements, the cycle is sort of endorse, refer, and share. So as you've established relationships with people you've dealt with in the past, there is the concept and the idea of sharing those connections with other people. You can actually go into LinkedIn and you can type a person's name, maybe you know the owner of the company down the street that you're trying to get in touch with, and see on LinkedIn how other people know him that you may know. And you can build that kind of linear path over to that person to get in touch with he or she. So again, it's just sort of the World Wide Web of connections. So exactly why do we care about LinkedIn? There's 175 million people on LinkedIn. There's a ton from the U.S. alone. That number is up dramatically since 2011, and it's growing every day. There's a number of folks, especially consultants that I work with, they use LinkedIn solely for their online resume. When you get on LinkedIn, you'll notice a number of things. You'll notice there are companies, but it's really about connections first. It's great that you have a company page, and we'll talk about how to build that in a moment, but it's way more important to have your personal business connections. One of the easiest things that you can do on LinkedIn when you get started is you probably all have a set of email contacts. There's a function and underneath connections to where you can actually import your list of 50, 100, 5,000 email contacts. Those contacts will actually start building relationships online for you. So again, as the example we mentioned before, say there's this owner of a business down the street that you want to get in touch with, you can type he or she's name in the search box and it will show you exactly how you might know that person. It's a great way to build your business without cold calling. So again, there's a number of stats there, and you guys are welcome to come back later. But as you can see, LinkedIn's pretty diverse. It's not necessarily Facebook, which is a younger generation, and it's not necessarily Pinterest, which is mostly dominated by women. It really is a diverse network in the sense of just about every business person that I know that owns a company at this point is on LinkedIn in some way, some form, promoting their business. So what are the uses for a small business in LinkedIn? The idea is you want to first build your personal network. You want to establish yourself as trusted. I'm sure you've done a lot of good work in the past. Go out and search for people you work with. They may not be in your connections database, but you will be able to find them by simply searching their name on LinkedIn. Provide value. Give others introductions. Give certain types of information that you may have not given unless they came in for an appointment before. If you'll focus on what you're giving first, you will get in return, because there will be a day when the person you're giving that introduction for, actually you can use the same individual to come back and get an introduction for someone they know. The second thing you want to do after building out your personal network is make sure you have built your business page. Again, it's important not to skimp on information or infographics and images. Make sure they're high quality. You know, there's nothing worse than the old conundrum of the Chinese restaurant we go into with green menus. You know, that's sort of a turnoff. So make sure you use real high-quality images. You do a good job describing your products and services. You solicit and you employ followers. And one of the biggest things you can do is you can tell your story on LinkedIn in a way that's not typical with other social networks. You can actually tell your story by the types of connections you have and the types of connections that they have. It's a great way to showcase your expertise, and this may be in the form of blog writing and sharing, or it may be in the form of finding really cool articles that give people the information they need in just-in-time fashion. The next thing you want to do is make those connections. There's never a point where you can stop making connections. You know, I know the old adage, less is more, but in this case, more is more. And the more connections you have, the easier it is to get in touch with the folks that you need and generate leads. The lead generation aspect of LinkedIn is really probably the biggest benefactor. One of the other important things that you can do from a LinkedIn perspective, say you have a growing company, it's a super easy way to find people with the skills that you're looking for. Maybe you need a Java developer, or maybe you need an executive chef. When you go up to the top search bar and you search for those terms, you're going to find people based on your area and you know, even outside your area that fall into those skill sets.